This is first video out of three-part series where we talk about how brands can leverage Deal Just Now platform to digitize their market and achieve digital market connect. So we'll talk about from brand perspective in these videos. So if we look at Deal Just Now, it's basically an ecosystem which brings together the market participants in our digital connect with the brand. By market participants we mean the retailers, the influencers, and consumers. So we will quickly take a look at what are the major let's say process steps required in Deal Just Now to be able to achieve this. So one is configure the system, that has to do with brand getting ready to digitally engage by offering loyalty plans, schemes, etc. The second is market rollout, the activities that take place in the market, and retailers essentially carrying out certain activities and consumers carrying out activities. And the third is the approve points reward system. So this video will focus on the configuration and readiness aspect, which can be divided into further three parts. One is where brands carry out the configuration of organization data, users, rights, etc. And the second is defining the royalty data, which is points, etc. And then basically defining and launching the schemes which can be leveraged by the market, which can be used by the market participants. So let's quickly move over to the demo, where we will take a quick look as to how brand can actually go about doing this. So let me quickly give you a view of what brand can do. So first thing we talked about is configuring user rights, and via user rights someone can allocate who can carry out what activities. I will not get into it for the sake of time. Then this other part is being able to define your location hierarchy. Now there is a very simple to use system where you can define as many levels as you want. So in this particular example, we have got a brand who has defined let's say territory, zone, under zone there are regions, and under regions there are areas which where you can define. So under region there are districts, and under districts you have got areas, and that is where you collect pin codes which fall in that area. So this is basically the joining concept with the real world, where you collect the number of pin codes and put it under a particular area, and thereafter the whole hierarchy works according to that as to what can be done, who should see the plan, and what benefits are available in which area. So you can define your location specific, location context sensitive plans and schemes, etc. Further, you can allocate the users who manage let's say that hierarchy. So you can make someone in charge of India. That means whatever happens inside India is visible and let's say managed by that person. And then you can define and change the allocation. This is a very important concept because this drives who approves the various transactions that are coming in from the market. Not only view it, but also be able to carry out approvals for point claim requests, reward claim requests, etc., etc. So in this example, we can say right now we can see who's allocated. So if I click on view, I can see what users are allocated to a particular region. I can assign a user. Let us say I can assign any user. In this case, let's say this user, I can assign it, and so on. So basically this is the part to do with where you define your location hierarchy. Then an important point is you need to define what is the monetary value of your point. So in this particular example, for this example brand, Ace brand as we have called it, we have got let's say 1 point is equivalent to 10 rupees of value. Generally speaking, brands will define low points value, low monetary value with each point to have more flexibility. So then after that you can define the various rewards that you are prepared to configure. In this we had, as you can see, we have configured loyalty rewards. So these are the rewards that are given when the points are redeemed against some reward. So these rewards can be redeemed against points, and reward type is a cash reward type in this case. And now cash reward type results in let's say an ability for a loyalty member to go and collect cash from, let's say, a nearby retailer, and we issue a voucher against it. So essentially we will see that in later videos. Then you can also define retailer rewards. You can, for example, as in this screen, you can allocate some product, or you can allocate a point, you can allocate some cash, or you can also offer things like travel packages and so on. The other important aspect is that you define the various levels for your loyalty members. So basically a customer who buys frequently your products is a more loyal customer, so you probably want to reward him better. So system has a mechanism of automatically calculating based on the extent of purchase by a customer what level he belongs to. Similarly, you can define your seller types. Authorized dealer is let's say shipped out of box, and other levels distributor, stockist, multi-brand retailer, which is usually what brands will define, but they have the flexibility of defining any seller type. So this is significant because this enables let's say brands to target their schemes appropriately. For example, a distributor selling a certain amount of things essentially should have different targets and different incentives as compared to, let's say, a multi-brand retailer. So these are the aspects that are defined in the system. Once we have defined the majorly data, there are other aspects in the systems which you can define. However, we will move on, and we will demonstrate let's say how you can define loyalty plans and how you can target your specific customers that you want to create reward for. So so we can see here we have defined some example schemes. If we look at this particular loyalty plan rather, so these loyalty plans are targeted at your influencers mainly, or it could also be end consumer focused plan, but it's a little bit more unusual. So in this example, we have got AA test plan quantity 4, odd name, but just is for test purposes. So in this case, we can see that it is allocated to these other particular in customer profiles who may be able to get points in this. In fact, we can click on this view button to get a perspective. So you can define plan and the plan validity, and whether this plan is based on quantity, that means amount of quantity purchased by him, or it is based on value, how much value of goods he has purchased. And then you can see let us say which are the products that are covered in this plan. This is all significant because when we actually try to roll out a plan, we'll be able to see what is the perspective that referrer or a customer sees on his app, that what products are covered and so on. Then here you can see list of various let's say type of customers who can enroll in this plan, and then what regions it can be enrolled in. I mean, like so this is a plan which is specifically meant for NCR region customers. So and then thereafter you can define the way you want to allocate points. I mean, this is an example. So here you can see if someone is at base level, that means he has just joined let's say as a base level loyalty member with a company. So for each purchase of any of these products, he's getting 15 points, whereas if he's a bronze, he's getting 20 and so on. So what it demonstrates here is that brands have the flexibility of targeting plans differentiated by products, differentiated by which kind of customer is making the purchase and in which particular geographic region. So this is a significant capability because it allows brands to be able to let's say define which are their, let's say, underperforming, overperforming regions, and according to that maybe give or less benefits to their customers. So then what we have talked about so far is the loyalty reward plans that are created. Then we have a concept of what we refer to as retailer schemes. So in retailer schemes, you can I will just click on add here. So you can create an incentive plan for retailers in order for them to let's say carry out these functions of enrolling the referrers to connect with you. So you can define in three ways. You can define quantity based, that means for each quantity that is let's say recorded on sale by the retailer and shared with you, there is some incentive. Value based, that means the retailer gets for each amount, each rupee sold, or each hundreds of rupees sold or thousands of rupees sold, he gets certain values. Or for each order recorded, a simple thing, if you record 10 orders in a month, for example, I would give you this, and so on. Then you can also define the kind of scheme. The scheme could be recurring monthly scheme. So for example, you could say every month if you record 100 products sold via the ecosystem, then we would be giving you this particular benefit, and so on, so on. So let us say I define a marketing scheme, let's say retailer NCR scheme as an example, very quickly, and I want to do this on quantity based, and let us say I want to create this scheme is valid from, let us say, from 27th, let us say 2026, for example, 26th of March to 26th of March. I just want a single day scheme. I'm giving a boost. So because this is a one-time scheme, so I can say this is only on 26th of March when something is done. Some scheme to incentivize retailers as an example, and I can also associate an image optionally. Now I can select in which area I want this scheme to be available. So let us say I select region, then within India, this follows from the location hierarchy that we demonstrated. You can define under North Zone, I want this to be available to all retailers in NCR. And then what products, then let us say I'm saying for each product, for any of the product that he sells of my company, I would like him to be able to get benefit of that. So I can then select the member type, let's say whether it's for distributor, stockist, retailer, or anyone. So in this case, let me just select anyone. Then there is also a concept of seller level, where you can define and internally allocate let's say good performing retailers from, let's say, retailers who need a little bit more help. So right now I'll just select anyone, and then I can say submit. Then an important point is where I would define the milestones. So this is quantity based, so I can say let us say one product sold, one quantity sold as an example, and I would give him, let's say, some let's say some 1,000 rupees or something. Total units sold, in this case I want to make sure that it is aligned with my name so that it's not confusing. So now I've created a milestone, and like this I can add more milestones. So here I can say 4 products sold. In that case I want to give him, I'm selling sink, so I probably am giving him 1 sink free, which is of some value. So I can say some number here, total units sold as 4, and I do submit. So like this I've created milestones, and then I will press submit. Once I press submit, then essentially it is there is a workflow process built into the system whereby approval is done, and once approval is done, this plan would be available for people to be able to use and benefit from it. So this is how the system operates. We will for the minute we will terminate our video here and move on to our next